In this video, we're going to talk about Booleans. Now, Booleans are quite simple. They're either true or false, but where it gets a little more complicated is when it comes to truthy and falsy values. You see, sometimes you have a Boolean context, like this condition over here, and the condition will always evaluate to either true or false, regardless of what you put inside. But then you have truthy and falsy values, and here basically you can drop, let's say, a request field, and then this will either be true or false. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing. Now, let's start by covering all of the possible falsy values. Now, these are the values that you will probably encounter at some point, and all of these values have something in common. They will all evaluate to false. Now, they have also something else in common. You'll see that they have some sort of emptiness to it. So we have false, obviously, then we have 0, -0, null, undefined, not a number, 0n, and an empty string. And all of these values are falsy values. Everything else that's not listed here is going to be a truthy value. So basically, if we have a falsy value, this conditional will evaluate to false, and this redirect here will not happen. If this conditional evaluates to true, this redirect will happen. All right, now let's see all of this in action. We can use the Boolean method to convert anything into a Boolean. Here, we can see that if we leave this Boolean method empty, it's going to evaluate to false. If we add an empty string, like we mentioned before, it's also going to be false. If we have a string with text inside, it's going to evaluate to true. Then if we have the number 0, it's going to be false. If we have the number 1 or 2 or 25, it's going to be true. Same thing with request fields. Let's say we select this ID field. If this ID exists, it's going to be true. If it doesn't exist, it's going to be false. If we, for example, write here a property that doesn't exist, like .hello, we're going to get false because this doesn't exist. And where these Booleans are really useful is in conditions like this one, but also in our if-else statements. So let's look at one example. So an if-else statement normally gets a condition. Let's say here we're just going to write true. This is the condition, and then we have what happens if the condition is true. We're going to, let's say, write hello. Otherwise, if the condition is false, we're going to write hi. And here we can see if this is true, it's going to be hello. Otherwise, if this is false, we're going to get hi. And here you would not write true and false because that's stupid. Normally, what you would do is you would insert a value. So for example, here you can check whether this ID exists. So if this ID exists, we're going to write hello. Otherwise, we're going to write hi. So this is a truthy value. If we have a falsy value, for example, some random text here, we're going to have false. So this second value will be displayed. Same with our numbers. 0 would display the second value because it's false, and 1 is going to be true, and it's going to display the first value. And these have been Booleans in a nutshell. In the future, we'll talk more about conditionals, operators, etc., where you're going to start understanding this Boolean context even better. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.